AI aspect of what your platform does?
AI actually helps us kind of form the research. We kind of look at this as hyper personalization.
Yeah, that's like next levels. I'm really open minded. I totally believe in manifestation. I've done it my whole life without knowing it. How do you sell this or how do you speak to somebody that's like,
That this app is kind of will either prove astrology right or wrong. Astrology came about, it was the same universe, and humans at the best capacity of their understanding of the universe at that time. But now we have a platform that can do that very precisely.
Welcome to another Million Miles, your personal lifestyle concierge with credibility. I'm Danielle Kiesling, and in each episode, I connect you with unparalleled access to authentic, credible voices from across the entire world of beauty, wellness, fashion, travel, and mindset. Friends, and welcome back to another Million Miles, where we explore the art of intentional living through conversations that challenge the way that we think, the way that we work, and the way that we move through this world. So today's guest is William Henderson. He's the founder of Lunar Life, which is an AI-powered personal timing intelligence platform, which I can't wait to talk about, rooted in chronobiology.
Yeah.
William began with a simple but fascinating question. What if timing isn't luck, but data? So that question led him into a deeper exploration of how measurable environmental cycles like lunar phases and solar activity might actually correlate with the shifts in human energy, focus, and decision making. Rather than offering predictions, built Lunar Life around a N of one philosophy using AI-driven analysis and personal experimentation to help individuals better understand their own patterns. This is going to be so fun. Okay. And this conversation going to explore the intersection of science, technology, human behavior, and performance, and ask the bigger question: if we understood our timing more clearly, how might that change the way that we live, we work, and we make decisions? So please welcome William Henderson, and thank you so much for not only jumping on the podcast but being early. That's a nice timing.
Yeah, I guess my timing is good here too.
Give me your background first of all. Like, has this been something that you've always done? How did you get into this?
It's really funny. When we had a decent alpha product, I went out to a bunch of different places and we getting people to use it. And someone asked me actually how long I had been doing this. And I thought for a second I didn't want to say like a few months, right? So I just said my whole life. And then when I actually thought about it, I said, you know what? That's actually really true. It has been my whole life. You know, when I think about my experiences, I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronomer. My inclinations were like how the universe was put together. We're in a remarkable time where we were learning great things about the universe and planetary cycles and different phenomena. And so I was always trying to find the bigger answer to questions.
How did you grow up? What was your job per se? And then how did it transition into being the founder of Lunar Life?
Yeah, I feel I had a really interesting upbringing, so my mother was from Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts. My dad was from Atlanta. They both worked at the New York Public Library at Fifth Avenue, kind of Fifth Avenue. I kind of equate that as like the first Google because it was a reference library and, they both would have people that would come and research topics and they'd leave their books on their desk or bring them back. Some of them were so rare they had to be brought back to the librarians. And my dad, my mom would read them. And, they were the smartest people I knew, really. And always very curious about what people were thinking and doing. And I think I have that same curiosity.
That's so cool. So how long have you had Lunar Life and how did you start this?
Well, we feel we created a whole new category. So personal timing intelligence. And what does that even mean? Well, let me put it to the best framework. So everybody puts things on their calendar, right? But
Mhm.
not that many people really pay attention to the timing in terms of when they put those things on their calendar. They might do it in terms of logistics, like they have to do things in bunches because they're going to, use a car, travel a distance, and they're going in a particular direction, and they might do a bunch of errands or activities based on that. But no one really looks at it. Should I be doing this at this particular time?
Okay.
And that's what personal timing intelligence really delves into. So we work with kind of many on many different aspects of, how the planets work. It's based on math.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like astrology. It
Mm-hmm.
is just basically where you are in relation to all these other beings and planets. And that in itself lends itself to offering an opportunity for you to do things at a particular moment in time.
Okay.
So, for instance, let's take a lunar cycle.
Okay.
You may be more reflective during a new moon period, right? So maybe it's best to do activities that are going to be contemplative and require some nuance or depth of thinking, as opposed to maybe doing those activities when it's a full moon and your sleep cycle is likely to be disrupted because it's light and it's also gravitational effects. And the
Our body
premise is
needs
that
water, right? So that's
yeah, I mean, once you see this, you can't unsee it. So basically, think about this. Let's say humans have been evolving for 7 million years, all our major systems, and you could go back billions in years, really, because our bodies are made up of different systems and so forth. And they were all developed under solar lunar cycles and celestial phenomena. When I
mhm,
say celestial phenomena, I mean things like solar flares, coronal mass ejections, interstellar storms, asteroids, meteorites. So you look at almost every aspect of life on Earth and humans in particular, it's hard not to imagine that those things are still affecting us. And
100%.
if we do the math, and which we can, because we in everyone's phone pocket, they have the largest computing paradigm known to man, with large language models and so forth. So we can use those, corral them, and find out the mundane things that you couldn't process before.
Okay.
That's our edge. So now you can notice patterns. You can figure out patterns. It's n of one. So every person is their own cohort.
Okay.
Many things could be affecting just you in particular. So that's the thing that's really important to understand. This is you finding out about yourself and how you work under different, patterns
Okay.
or
Okay.
rhythms.
That's so interesting. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Does this live on an app? Does this live on a platform?
So right now we're in beta testing, so it's not available in a store just yet,
Okay.
but we're
I'm
on the Apple
excited. I'm like, I
platform.
need it. I need this.
People can join the beta. They can go. We'll give you the link for your viewers to go and download it, and they can use it.
Okay.
I guess the best way to look at it is everyone looks at their calendar, and it's like split into days, weeks, minutes, hours. Yeah, but that's not how we experience it. We kind of experience expansive moments in time, like when something anticipation, it's taking so long to develop, right? And then when you're in the moment, it goes so fast, right? Tempus fugit, time flies. That's something uniquely human to some degree, right? And it's not something that our watches or calendars actually connect with.
Okay.
And so that's the insight that we have to building a platform that lets people understand like where to extend those moments where, your outcomes are going to be greater. And if we can limit, poor outcomes or, maybe kind of prevent you or dissuade you from making a poor decision at a time where maybe you're under stress, you're producing a lot of cortisol. It's full moon, you're getting light disruption, gravity disruption, so you're getting poor sleep. You start making decisions when you're have those kind of things going on, you're going to make poor decisions. Sometimes you have no choice to do that, but at
Yeah.
least you can understand those are affecting you, and to that end, you can take that into account in how you make your decision. But I don't believe people really take that into consideration when they're putting together a calendar. And sometimes you put things on your calendar, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I am definitely not feeling that. That is not happening today. And I don't know what I was even thinking. So,
100%. No, it's like
yeah.
so true. I do that a lot. That's why I'm like, I am so fascinated by this.
Yeah. And
I
we
do
have a,
timing. I know just being from the industry that I'm at, like people say they use the term, oh, it must be a full moon, but like it is a real thing. Like it is a real thing. I think people just say that so lightly. And I'm like, to your point, I'm like, our bodies are made I mean, like, our bodies are made of water. The full moon, I mean, like, I live on a tidal marsh in South Carolina. I watch the tides go in and out and change drastically, and I do think
Yeah,
of, like, what does that do to our body? I love this idea because I talk about it like it's, like, something I know. I'm not a scientist, but I'm just, like, I'm just very in tune with my body and my emotions and, like,
sure.
things that are happening in astrology and planets aligning. And like sometimes people are like, oh, here she goes on her woo woo kick again, but I'm like, no, I'm like, trust me, listen to it. There is times where I'm like, I'm not making a decision this week because none of them are going to be good because of what's happening
Yeah.
out in the planets right now. And so, yeah, this is really, really cool.
Yeah, we have a really cool use case. So we have what's called Celestial Search. It's an open search.
Okay.
And I use it quite often because I travel a great deal. I could be in a crazy city or, different city every day or every week.
Okay.
And I'll just put in, where's the best place to eat lunch? And I may say, where, can I get a good steak, or where can I get a lobster or something? But what we do is we don't give you like a whole list of restaurants. We just give you one time, one place to go. And that's the best place for you at that particular moment in time. Now, you could be with friends or family, but, our contention is birds of a feather flock together.
With over 26 years of real life experiences as a thriving entrepreneur, I'm here to bring you sophistication, insight, and expertise into every aspect of your life. This is Another Million Miles, where luxury meets authenticity and every step brings you closer to the life that you deserve.
And they're gonna have a good time as well.
Okay.
So, it's remarkably accurate. It does the things that it needs to do, and it's interesting. And you might find that you might have gone to that restaurant even of your own design, but what we do is we're saving you lots of time.
Well,
You don't
I'm
have
just
to
thinking
sift
of it
through
as
all the Yelp of
I'm like, I don't want to make a decision at the end of the day on where I'm taking these people to eat. So yes, I sign me up.
yeah, or, let's say you wanna take your significant other out. When's the best time for date night? When's the best time to, tackle my inbox on my email? Those seem like mundane things, but, the timing is really important. If you can do that, sometimes you could do that and it's a slog. Sometimes you can go to it and you're reflective and you're contemplative and you can just breeze right through it. So if people start to pay attention to when they should do things,
Yeah.
that should make a meaningful impact in their lives, we feel.
I find this fascinating and very interesting because I would say it's been a journey, but about 2 to 3 years ago, I started this very like deep spiritual, like just kind of refocusing. And, I
Mm,
got in touch with my hormones. I got in touch with like a lot of things that were like changing in my life, changed a lot, cleaned out the clutter per se. I'm also like a highly performing, functioning ADD, like do a million things during the day.
mhm.
And one thing that I have
Probably not that dissimilar, actually.
I mean, it's like, I just say squirrel. I'm like on to the next, so let me run and do like 5 errands in between a podcast. Sometimes it's a lot, but you learn how to manage it. One of the gifts that I've learned how to manage is like really paying attention to like what my body's telling me. And so what you're saying is resonating with me right now because there are days that like I might have like something on my calendar that like I got to do this, or what I call my today's list that I take from my to-dos,
Mhm.
and the shit that I don't want to do, I just move it over to the next day's list.
Yep.
And but like I've realized that when I wake up and like I'm feeling a certain way,
Mhm.
that like if I have like a gravitational pull to like start purging things and going through my office, which I freaking hate to do, but like for whatever reason that day I'm like, I should just get organized and get rid of all this paperwork. And it's like I just have to hunker down and do it because if I go back to the list and I'm doing things on that list that I don't want to do that day, like things that I do on a regular basis become incredibly challenging. My attention is just like scattered and it takes me 10 times longer to get those tasks done. So I'm sitting here thinking I'm pretty in tune with my body. I just would like to know what the hell's going on in the universe now and why and how I should time things because
Yeah.
that a lot of sense to me.
Well, people think that, our time is like linear, but it may just be a rhythm or a wave. And so when you start to think of time in that, construct, it's maybe not that you're wrong. it's not the right time. It's maybe
Yeah.
not something that you did. It's
Yeah.
just you just didn't do it at the right time.
At the right
You
time.
know, and sometimes you do something you do habitually, and some days it just goes straight through and no hiccups, and you're just like, wow,
Mhm.
I can't believe I did all of that and nothing happened, you know, because
Correct.
you just happen to have it in rhythm. And it happens a lot for people
Yeah.
that way. We're not doing anything different. What we're helping you to do is to bring attention to it, right? Bring it to the forefront so that
Mhm.
you're paying more attention to maybe what your intuition is really telling you, what your body is telling you.
That was going to be my next question. You obviously believe in intuition.
I believe that, you know, this is something that gives you we have the gut brain axis. People say listen to your gut, right? So we know that there's lots of research out there, meninges, gut brain axis that really are affected by these types of phenomena. So it's just, you know, once you see it, you can't unsee it,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
No. Agreed. Agreed. I cannot wait. I want to get on the platform now.
We introduced a new concept too, which is Astro Pulse. So
Okay.
you can wake up in the morning and, you know, everyone wants to keep a journal, but keeping a journal is really difficult. So what we do is we have about 20 to 25 metrics that go even down to your technology, you know, is your battery draining faster? Do you have technical glitches? These are things that happen routinely with phenomena like coronal mass ejections and solar flares. You could have glitchy software and technology, and that could be impacting your day. And on top of that, it's also creating anxiety for you that you have to work through. So, you know, by capturing these data points, right?
Yeah.
Doing this journal every day, let's say you want to go back 2 or 3 years back to see on a particular day what was going on or a particular period, and you can now test against all these phenomena that we all, you know, we track. And now you can see, you know, well, that was really interesting. I didn't do so well during that period, and that was going on. So maybe if that period comes up again, that's something I definitely want to pay attention to. You know, people some don't realize that some of these phenomena are happening every single month.
Yeah.
Sometimes tidal influences are happening every day. And you have what 80% of all humanity living next to, you know, a body of water
Yeah.
that's affected by tide. So it is really impactful on many different levels. And we're not just tracking lunar cycles, solar, lots of different phenomena that are out there.
How do you use AI then? Like, what's the AI aspect of what your platform does? Because, like, there's just AI is so like trendy and controversial too at the same time. So, people like sometimes you attach the, AI to anything and they're like, I don't want to use it. Like, yeah, I'm taking a in my house. And it's like, okay, come on. So, what is the AI part of it?
Well, AI actually helps us kind of form the research, and different AIs are different, better at different contexts. So, depending on the context of what you're requesting or what you're looking to find out, that'll determine which AI gets where it gets routed to, you know, that the answer is well formed, has the context required that's meaningful to you. You
Okay.
know, we kind of look at this as hyper personalization. This is
Okay.
just you. All your data resides in your phone and it becomes hyper personalized because it's N of one, meaning you're the one cohort
Okay.
and everything that you kind of feed back to it. Did the information we provide to you, was that meaningful? Did it work in the way that you anticipated it to work?
Okay.
And so it's constantly dialing in and getting better at it. And the more you use it, the more it's going to, you know, make an impact, right? In the way that we hope to, on some measure, reduce the outcome of poor outcomes, right?
Uh,
Or the impact of poor outcomes and increase the level and the opportunity or frequency of good outcomes. If we can do that even 5, 6, or 7% on both sides, that's a meaningful shift in someone's life that can make the difference between having a great day or an okay day.
yeah. I mean, I think that's so powerful. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, really open-minded when it comes to, this. Like, I totally believe in manifestation. I mean, I can vouch for it. Like, I've done it my whole life without knowing it. But how do you sell this or how do you speak to somebody that's like doesn't believe in this at all?
You know, the biggest leap is everyone just thinks it's astrology. You know, in a way, you could look at it, this app is kind of will either prove astrology right or wrong. Because, you know, astrology came about, it was the same universe, and humans at the best capacity of their understanding of the universe at that time were trying to make inferences and insights into the world that they were experiencing, the universe they were experiencing. But now we have a platform that can do that very precisely
Yeah.
and put you within the universe yourself. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, we're going to do the math to figure it out for you.
I think it's freaking cool. I'm just excited about it. I can't wait to try it because I do. I
You know, there's
travel over.
Welcome to another Million Miles, your personal lifestyle concierge with credibility. Here we go beyond surface level advice. We dive deep into transformational insights from experts who set the standard in their fields.
calendar's only been around for 6,000 years. And I was always fascinated by the number that in the 1800s, there were like a billion people. And, you go, a couple of hundred years later, and we're near 8.5 billion people. What really broke it open for me is getting into large language models and doing kind of like, oh, well, what was the population before a billion? How did that get to? And around 6,000 years ago, population was 170 million. So it took about 5,000 years to go from 170 million to a billion people, but it only took us 200 years to go to 8.5 billion people. So that was a stunning, revelation to me. And so what I understood it to be was really the enhancement of the solar and lunar cycle. Because lunar cycles, if you tried to plant to them, you would have a problem with seasons moving around. But if you used and introduced the solar cycle, now agriculture could be more predictable. Now you could not have everyone having to go out and source their food. You can rely on a few talented people focused on growing in large scale, predictable volume, and that enable people to move into cities and to share ideas and have, self actualization. So, when you look at the calendar in some ways, it's kind of extended hyper growth of humanity.
Yeah.
If you go back to maybe the beginnings of humanity, which some people can put, well, large language models put it around 7 million years. They all have a different opinion based on the research that they've ingested and presented. Then you look at 7 million years to get to 170 million people, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So then when you put it into context, like calendars probably are the greatest invention to humanity.
Right. I
So,
mean,
but with also that might bring issues, right?
yeah, friction against the
Well,
way that
we're
it's organized.
we're revolving so fast that we're outstripping our capacity to evolve that quickly. So this is a way actually maybe to understand it a little bit better. That's my feeling. This is a good conversation because I haven't really dug this deep into it. So
Oh,
you
I'm
probably
the
think you
kicker.
probably think about time.
My
You
boyfriend's
actually probably think about time the
just
same way
like,
I do.
he's like, you just dig in, don't you? Like the minute he gives me a
Yeah.
task, I'm like, I am 110% in. Give me a project. And he's like, my God, you just keep digging. So that's great. I love it. I'm glad that we're having that conversation.
I was just always curious, and I tried to always understand the whole unifying how things fit together, right? And my own background, I worked in tons of different industries, banking, finance, and software development. And I was always, every industry and market that I went into, I was always wanting to understand how it worked.
Yeah.
And so, that kind of led me to this. That's why I think when people ask me how long I've been doing this, I'm like literally my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, same. So, same. We share that similar because, like I said
Yeah.
earlier, I've always believed in manifestation. And I was like actually trying to explain it to somebody recently. And it was like, I'm like, I've done this my whole life. I did it as a kid. I just didn't know what I was doing. But I always I always said I can do whatever I tell the world that I want to do. And I would just do it. And it was like, okay, I'm going to be this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be here and I'm going to do that. And this is how I'm going to live. And this is, how success it looks. And it literally, I don't think I got clear on any of that until about 3 years ago when I changed basically my life and my whole perception on things. And so this takes it to another level. I think it's very, very interesting to me.
It started off as kind of like, let's see what this would do. And then the insights, I just put it together how I think. And, some of the basis was like, allowing people to live as a Mayan. When you want to live in a Mayan calendar, maybe that might resonate with you. Or you could live in a Hebrew calendar or Asian calendar. We have a really robust calendar presence. We decided to make the search open to any kind of request that you may have an interest in doing, with AstroPulse and soon Astrocast. Astrocast will give you kind of a weather report of what's happening in the universe every day. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of interesting things that happen and 10 to 30 different phenomena that could have an impact on your day, right,
That's
in some
very.
way.
When's that coming out?
We're hoping soon. I mean, we're testing it diligently. We have lots of functionality that's been worked over, and we're doing a more expansive beta. So we're looking to get thousands of people on board using the app and feeding back to us. We hope that it's out there relatively soon.
How are you testing it? How can somebody listening to this episode get involved with testing, or tell me more about that?
They can go to our website, www.lunarlife.me. So we have a way you can sign up. And of course, my team will give your audience the links and so forth to be able to do that.
Okay.
Just encourage people to use it. Use the features that are there. There are some features that are coming soon, but the features that they can use are actually pretty good, like a celestial search, AstroPulse, where you can take multiple snapshots of how you feel. It could begin with your intentionality for the day, and end with kind of like you're feeling the bookend on the day, did it end the way you thought it was going to end? Or you could have been in the middle of the day and something really disruptive or something really enhanceful came about and you want to mark that, right? And then we really focus on activity details. So activities that you plan, we kind of look at those as memories. The best analogy I have, I remember reading a story about a couple, they recently married and they were digging out their family photos and putting them on the mantle. And they happened to the wife looked and saw that there was a picture of his family at Disney World, and he was in a stroller, and and then right in the back of him was her family.
Whoa, what?
So, I remember that story, and I think, like, how many times does that really happen? So it was really important for us to capture, not only the timing when you do things, but the activity, how you do it. And so you can go and revisit it because it may have a different meaning somewhere down the road. And our recollection can be kind of imperfect because sometimes time is very expansive for us. Sometimes it's very, it collapses in on itself.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
when you have activity you can go back to and you say, that guy, that cute guy, I remember him. And my God, this is the guy that I just met and he's really attractive. Or, a woman or, things hit differently at different moments of your life. And we don't really understand. We have inclinations and we know it happens, but here's a way to possibly measure it, right? And yeah,
Putting
really,
it,
really powerful.
I want everything. I'm definitely going to put it to the test. I have so many things that are just spinning out in my mind right now going, I can't wait. I can't wait to find out. I
Yeah.
can't wait to I've got to wrap this up, but is there anything else you want to leave my audience today, William, with? Any advice, anything, last words, anything?
Yeah, I would just say timing is everything, right? And people that listen to this podcast should start to think about really the time when they plan to do things because it's very, very meaningful. It has a big impact. And
Yeah.
I hope if that's something that they want to learn about, that they'll go seek us out and use our app and really discover a new way of looking at the world and themselves in the world.
Well, thank you. What I really love about this conversation with you is that it really invites us to rethink something that many of us take for granted, and that's timing. And I think
Yeah.
so often measure success by effort alone, but hearing that these doors can be opened up to deeper layers of awareness and understanding our own rhythms, noticing those patterns, and becoming more intentional about how we channel our energy and our focus and decision making based off of some of these amazing AI insights and tools that you and your team have put together is so worth the time that we took to talk today. William's work with Lunar Life just so you all know, offers again a thoughtful and curious perspective on what may be possible when we stop assuming that our performance is random and start paying attention to the date and the data of our own lives. So if this episode sparked anything for you, for anybody, be sure to share it, subscribe, leave a review. And as always, thank you for joining me on Another Million Miles, where every conversation is an invitation to elevate the way that we
I think
live.
we traveled 1,000,000 miles in 1,000,000 years.
Yes, and that's why it's
That was
named.
great.
So
Yeah, I
just
appreciate
elevate
you.
yourself, live your best life, and lead and grow one intentional step at a time. So thank you again, William. This was such a pleasure, and I'm gonna message you and make sure that I get my link and put this to the test.
Will do. Thank you so
Perfect.
much for having me on your show.
Thank you for joining me on Another Million Miles, where luxury and authenticity meet to enrich your journey. This is Another Million Miles, and I'll see you on the path ahead in our next episode. Until then, keep embracing the journey, savoring each moment, keep dreaming big and moving closer to the life you envisioned, and traveling afar.